What's going on, folks? Welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, I want to discuss a topic that I'm hoping is going to be relatable for a lot of people. It is a topic that I have definitely spoken about at several points throughout my time making YouTube videos. And not just that, it's a conversation that I've had with people several times in real life. And I don't think it's any surprise that I talk about this topic so much. It's because I genuinely do believe that it is true. And it's a message that I definitely want to spread to as many people as possible. And the topic is how getting yourself in shape transforms your mental health. Now, as we go throughout this video, I want to draw examples, as specific examples as I can from my own life from when I used to be overweight. And I do want to try and make it as relatable as possible because I do believe that there probably are a lot of people out there who are stuck where I once was, stuck in a position where they are overweight, unable to seemingly do anything about that, but still dealing with the consequences that being overweight has on your life in general. And hopefully my experiences will inspire someone out there to make a change. So if it does sound like something you might be interested in, make sure you stick around. Be sure to leave the video a like and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. So how exactly does getting yourself in shape transform your mental health? Well, when I think back to the person that I was when I was overweight, I was definitely very different to how I am now. I was different in the way that I carried myself, in the way that I spoke with people, in the way that I socialized. I was certainly nowhere near as confident then as I am now. And when I think about the lack of structure and routine that I had in my life at that point, it's not really any surprise that I felt that way. So the first way that focusing on my physical health transformed me mentally was that focusing on my physical health introduced a level of routine and structure that I did not have previously. When I think back to the person that I was when I was overweight, I didn't have much of a sleep pattern. I didn't have any kind of consistent routine. I just kind of woke up and went about my day kind of aimlessly and without any real sense of direction, which now that I think back at it is quite terrifying, but that is just the person that I was back then. I was overweight, and although yes, I went to the gym, again, there was no routine or structure to that. I just kind of went as and when I wanted to, and I did as and what I wanted to do. And that lackadaisical approach in the gym back then definitely bled into other areas of my life. Not having a sleep routine was a big factor in this. I just kind of went to bed when I wanted to, and that was often, after midnight, and I would struggle to wake up at a reasonable hour, and I would struggle to just feel refreshed and energized the next day. I didn't have a regular routine of looking after myself and looking after my appearance. I mean, things like haircuts, going for dentist checkups, base level things to just kind of keep yourself ticking over. It was never a routinized thing that I did to keep myself feeling good. It was always a kind of as and when I felt like doing it, which was not very often. And that shoddy approach definitely led to me not really feeling like I was going anywhere. And it's no surprise because I didn't really have any direction. I was just kind of winging things as I went. And that obviously had an effect on me mentally. I didn't really feel like I was getting anywhere, didn't feel like I was progressing. And I was kind of stuck in this place of wondering why I wasn't getting anywhere. And that was definitely a tough situation to be in. So how did getting into the gym and focusing on my physical health change that? Well, when I started following an actual plan in the gym, which meant that I had to go a certain amount of days, I had to train in a certain way, and I had to train to fulfill specific criteria. That gave me direction. It forced me to really look and plan my week and make sure that I fit this in. It made me do basic things like use my calendar. It made me do things like track my weight, which I wasn't doing previously. And that basic level of routine and structure led to a sense of clarity and a sense of direction that made me feel like I was doing something that was good for me. And because of feeling that sense of clarity and direction, that made me think to myself, okay, well, if I'm getting into the gym on a consistent basis and on a routinized basis, maybe I need to routinize some other things. And that was when I started routinizing things like my haircuts, dental checkups. It was when I set aside time daily to make sure that I was looking after my appearance, making sure that I looked presentable before I left the house, making sure that I cleaned and tidied my space on a consistent basis, making sure that I had time to prepare my meals for the week. They were all knock-on effects of the mental benefits that I experienced of having a clear and consistent gym routine. I think if I had to choose one shift that really changed me mentally, it was definitely making sure that I had a clear and consistent sleep pattern, making sure that I was going to bed and waking up at reasonable hours, which led to me just feeling refreshed and good in the morning and ready to take on another day. To this day, I always talk about being a creature of habit. If you follow me on Instagram and see my stories, you'll probably notice that it's pretty much the same things every day. And that is because today I understand the benefits very clearly on having things routinized into your calendar and making sure that your life at a basic level is organized. And I'm certain that if you introduced a base level of structure to your life, you would experience the same benefits too. The next way that focusing on your physical health will transform you mentally is goal setting. And I know this sounds like such a cliche topic. People talk about goals and having things to strive for, to achieve, but I want to explain it in a bit of a different way, again, drawing upon my own experience from the person that I was. I used to have such a kind of apathetic approach towards goal setting. I didn't really do it. I was just kind of like, whatever, it's fine. I'll just get better without it. And guess where that got me? Absolutely nowhere. Ultimately, if you don't have something to aim for, you're never really going to get anywhere. I think a lot of people, when they're stuck being overweight and unable to do anything about it, it's very easy to fall into this trap of neglecting goal setting. You're probably too busy being distracted by that new shiny diet method that promises to strip 5 kilos off you within a week. You're always putting your results in the hands of someone or something else rather than looking at yourself. Because to me now, goal setting is really ownership of your life and making sure that it goes in the direction that you want it to go in. I didn't have that level of clarity when I was overweight. To sum it up in a few words, I didn't set goals, therefore I got nowhere. I wasn't even setting out to achieve anything, so how could I achieve anything? The way that affected me mentally back then, and the way that I think this might affect so many people who might be stuck in that position that I once was, is that when you don't set goals and you don't give yourself direction, it leads to a real feeling of aimlessness and feeling like you're lost and unfulfilled. It almost feels like you've got no meaning and no purpose. And if you ask me, that's a very, very dangerous place to be. And a knock-on effect of that I experienced as well was that because I wasn't achieving anything, I didn't have anything to aim at, and therefore I wasn't achieving anything, I was reinforcing a narrative in my head that I wasn't capable of achieving anything, because I was trying different diets, I was trying different supplements, different workout plans, and nothing was working because I didn't follow it properly. I didn't have a proper goal, didn't follow direction properly. So in my mind, I was trying to do all these things and nothing was working. So I was just reinforcing to myself that I wasn't capable of achieving anything for myself. But when I really started focusing on my physical health and following that structured plan and routine and giving myself goals to strive for, all of a sudden I was waking up with purpose. I was waking up with intent. I was going about my days with that clarity of direction. I wasn't just floating about the day anymore. I was attacking it. I was oriented towards achieving something. I wanted to achieve it, and I didn't let anything stop me. You wouldn't believe the effect that had on me mentally. I chipped away at that narrative that I built for myself that I wasn't capable of achieving anything, because I was achieving things on a consistent basis, small milestones. I was proving to myself that I was capable of achieving, and I really don't think you need me to explain why that felt so good. You have to be the captain of your own ship, and I don't think there's many better ways to do that than taking control of your physical health. And this leads me nicely onto the next point that I wanted to discuss, and that is how seeing results on your fitness journey equals motivation to do the same in other areas of your life. I mentioned this with the routine point earlier, and this definitely applies towards seeing results as well. When it comes to your health and fitness, there is nothing more motivating than seeing progress. You've been intentional, you've set a goal, you've followed a sense of clarity and direction, and you've reaped the benefits of that. That is motivating like nothing else. I think it is absolutely no coincidence that it was when I started to get into shape, my professional life improved massively. My personal life improved massively. So many other areas of my life benefited from me achieving in my physical health. I'd seen that power of the process on the physical side of my life, so I started to apply it to other areas of my life. Anyone who's been through a similar process to me will understand what I'm talking about here, but it is impossible to go through that level of physical transformation and not feel the desire to apply it to other areas of your life. It gives you this drive, this level of ambition that you will have never felt previously, because you've proven to yourself that you're capable of achieving, and that leads you to just feel so much more hungry to think, how can I push this further? How can I improve other areas of my life now? The sense of motivation, the sense of hunger, the sense of ambition, it is just unparalleled. And we can't leave this video without covering the cliche topic of confidence. And I think first off, let's define confidence. To me, confidence is a level of certainty of an outcome, which is most commonly associated with repeated proof that a certain input leads to a certain output, a certain process leads to a certain outcome. To give you a hypothetical example, let's say the goal is to deadlift 200 kilos. If you've not deadlifted anything close to that previously, then odds are you're not going to feel very confident stepping up to the platform with 200 kilos on the bar. However, if you've got repeated proof that you can lift 180, 185, 190, 195, and you've proven to yourself that you can lift that weight consistently several times, then odds are you're going to feel a bit more confident in achieving the 200 kilos. Now, do you remember what I mentioned earlier about having this narrative that you're not capable of achieving anything? Therefore, you feel a bit lost, aimless, lack of purpose, etc., etc. It's no wonder that at that stage, you're not confident, because you've not proven to yourself that you can achieve anything yet. But when you focus on your physical health, and you prove to yourself that you're capable of achieving small goals and achieving certain milestones, there's no way you cannot feel more confident within yourself, because you've proven to yourself that if you apply certain inputs and you apply certain processes, certain systems, you achieve certain outputs and certain results. So it's no wonder that you feel more confident when that's the case. You carry yourself differently. You have a different energy about you. You show up far better for yourself and for your loved ones. You show up better in social settings, and that is because you're more sure of yourself. You have proven that you're capable of achieving for yourself. So it's no surprise that you're walking a little bit taller. Now, finally, to conclude, because I had this conversation just this morning with someone, I want you to think for a moment about the traits that it requires for you to get in shape. Getting in good physical shape requires discipline. It requires consistency. It requires the concept of delayed gratification. It requires the ability to do hard things. It requires the ability to show up when you really don't want to. Now, if you're exercising all of those traits and more to get yourself in shape, how can you not feel better about yourself mentally? I can't really think of any situation where applying those traits towards achieving something physical will not lead to a knock-on effect of mental benefits. And if you don't understand this now, then I'm certain that if you were to apply this to your own life, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Is there anything in this video that surprised you or you need a bit more clarity on? Just go ahead and leave it in the comments below and I will make sure that I address it. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm really grateful that you chose to spend a little bit of time with me when you could have been doing literally anything else. And I really hope that you stick around for more content like this in the future. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm feeling in a really good rhythm with YouTube at the moment and I'm really hoping that I can carry that on. So thank you again and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Peace.